Shalom, shalom to the nation of Israel. Yahawashi, Atha. This is Officer Hama,
and Captain Zakar.
of the Light of Zion, Augusta, Georgia, under Minister Solomon and Priest Kahan of the Light of Zion. I hope everybody today been going well. I pray that everybody was, having a nice week, a nice day. Everybody got to work safely. And I pray that everybody's family was doing amazing also, right? I hope everybody having a blessed week. Right now, today, again, it's going to be a short lesson. I'm just going to be going over basically the people in the book, the people in the book, who is our people, right? The skin colors. We're going to be getting a little bit into Yahawashi, in the Most High. We're also going to get a little into Moses. We're just going to be, going through the spirit, right? Now, for those that don't know, we always start off with the book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 17, right? That's very important. That's something we do, right? The Light of Zion. But we like to start off with the book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 17. Go ahead.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 17.
Mm-hmm.
And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Atha Yahawashi, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by Him.
Right. So whatever you do in word or deed, through your actions, right? Whenever you're giving praises, you're giving glory, honor to the Most High. You always have to acknowledge Yahawashi also. You have to do it through Yahawashi, who people ignorantly call Jesus Christ today, which isn't his name, right? Jesus Christ isn't his real name, right? So we always doing the name of Yahawashi, and that's why it's important to know the name of Yahawashi, his true name. Right? We always got to do it through him. Right now, let me get First John chapter 4. Start verse 1. So let me get a little bit into that.
This is the book of 1 John chapter 4 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits.
Right. So don't look, man. Don't just believe anybody out there or any spirit out there. You got to try them, right? You got to test them to see if they know what they're talking about. Read.
Whether they are of the Most High.
Right.
Because many false prophets are gone out into the world.
Right. So you got to make sure they're of the Most High also. When they talking, they have to be all about the Most High. When it comes down to the Most High, it always have to, you always have to believe in the Most High. You cannot say you don't believe in the Most High and think your spirit is moving righteously, because that's going off. Right. So that's why you always got to test their spirit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, what was that other part you said?
The beginning.
Yeah, just read it.
From the top. This is the book of 1 John chapter 4 verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits, whether they are of the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
Because many false prophets are gone out into the world.
So many false prophets are out there. Right. You will be hearing so many different doctrines. Right. I know it's hard, right? We got religions out there also. And we also got people in the truth that's coming up with different doctrines. Mm-hmm. That's why you got to pray. Give me that Ecclesiastes chapter 37, verse 15, right? This is why you have to pray that the Most High leads you.
37, 13?
Or 15. 37 and 15.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 37 and verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
And above all this, pray to the Most High, that he would direct thy way in truth.
Right. That's why you have to pray that the Most High leads you to the truth. Or you could drop down and go back. This is why you pray the Most High leads you to the truth. Because there's many different false doctrines out there. You won't know who to follow. Right? I know it's hard, right? But you got to pray for this. Praying is underrated. It's an underrated aspect in life. But it is very powerful. Right? It's going to lead you to the right path. Just pray to the Most High. If you're keeping his commandments, look, if you're listening to the Most High, following the laws, statutes, and commandments, the Most High is going to be with you. And if the Most High is with you, you can't be defeated. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Go ahead and read.
Verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
Hereby know ye the spirit of the Most High. Every spirit that confesseth that Yahawashi Hamashiach is come in the flesh is of the Most High.
Right. So you have to believe in Yahawashi. again, who people ignorantly call Jesus Christ. You have to believe in him. It's mandatory. Ain't no option. If you believe in the Most High, you have to believe in Yahawashi. And that's why I said, like, speaking of false doctrines, there's a OT onlys. The OT onlys, they don't believe in Jesus or Yahawashi. Right? You have to believe in Yahawashi. That's why. That's again, right? That's why it's important to know whatever you're doing in word or deed. The things that come out of your mouth, you have to consider. Your actions, you have to consider. What would Jesus? What would Yahawashi do? Will Yahawashi do this? Will he do that? Go into the scriptures. Go into the scriptures and see what he's been doing. He's been praying for this nation. He loved this nation of people. So what makes you think you're not allowed to love the nation or the people?
So like speaking on that, Christians will say WWJD. What would Jesus do, right? When they don't even follow what Yahawashi actually did during his lifetime.
Right.
Because he kept the law, statutes, and commandments and taught men and women to do so. Right. He did all these things that the Most High told him to do. He was a prophet on the earth. They want to say that you have to go by his example and live, quote unquote, a good life.
Right.
Well, what's a good life according to the scriptures? What is good according to the scriptures? The law, statutes, and commandments. So if you want to use that as an example, or it's like if you want to say that, if they want to say WWJD, what would Jesus do? They actually have to do what Yahawashi did. See, because they have the white Christ in their mind when they say that, and we already know the history behind that. Only wickedness came from that. They conquered our people through it, right? And they pushed that upon our people,
right?
Made us not even remember who we were. They took that away from us. You read Psalms 83. So when you look into the history, you understand that white Jesus that they have, that they push so heavily, all it is oppression evermore upon our people.
That's right.
So I can go ahead. My bad.
Con, you can continue.
I do have a precept concerning prayer, right?
Right.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 21, verse 22. And all things, my bad, Slacking. From the top. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 21, verse 22. And all things, whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer, believing ye shall receive.
Right. So you have to be confident. Whatever you pray for, you have to believe you're going to receive it. Right. So that's when faith comes in. Your faith have to get, again, it has to be D1. Your faith has to be strong. Right. So whatever you pray for, you always got to pray. And whenever you pray, you always got to believe you're going to receive it. Because you can't just pray and be like, okay, thank you again. It's over with. You can't just pray to get it over with. You have to be confident in what you pray for. You have to believe that the Most High is going to listen to your prayer.
Right?
And you always got to make sure you thank him for that too, consistently. But that's a blessing. You had a precept?
One more precept. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 12. So like verse 14, my bad. Verse 14. Use not many words in a multitude of elders, and make not much babbling when thou prayest. Reason why I got this scripture is because whenever you pray, or whenever you're supposed to pray, it's not supposed to be a long speech, right? But what does Christianity push? They be out there having you standing on your feet for about an hour, 2 hours during prayer, just for them not to be heard. Because the Most High said that he's not going to hear a sinner. They teach antinomianism. They teach against the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. So once they teach against the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments, what are they doing? Causing our people to continue to go astray. Because they think that they can believe in all these different gods and philosophies of that Esau pushes on us and all these other nations push on us, and that we're going to be okay. That they can be heard from their prayers going to be heard by some type of higher power. Because they don't believe in the Most High that we know and understand. That's in the scriptures. They believe that they just know that somebody created the universe, and they're hoping that he's hearing them. But the Most High is not hearing them because they don't even know him. How do we know that we know the Most High? We keep his law, statutes, and commandments.
That's right.
We stick to what the Most High told us and what the Most High had us doing back then, right? Literally says, remember the days of old for a reason. We're not going on into astrology, horoscopes, doing all these wicked things that, a lot of our people are into nowadays. We're sticking to what the Most High told us, and that's it. Go back. Go ahead. Sorry.
You could continue.
No, that was it.
Yeah, on the 1 John.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
That's all good.
1 John chapter 4 and verse 3. Verse 3. And every spirit that confesseth not that Yahawashi Hamashiach is come in the flesh is not of the Most High.
Right. So if you don't believe in Yahawashi, you're not of the Most High.
Con.
Mm-hmm.
And this is that spirit of Antichrist.
Right. That's the spirit of Antichrist.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's going against the Most High. That's the opposite of Yahawashi. Right? You're not Yahawashi. That's false Jesus. Mm-hmm.
Whereof ye have heard that it should come.
Mm-hmm.
And even now already it is in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Ye are of the Most High, little children, and have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world.
Right. Greater is him that is in you than the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's better for the Most High. Again, if the Most High is with you, who's going to be against you? Who could conquer you? Who could defeat you? Man, you could take down the whole U.S. Army, Russia, China, by yourself if the Most High is with you.
Con. Be the Most High's will. That's
Right.
it. What can they say or what can they do against you?
Right.
If the Most High has any type of power or hold on you.
Right. Now get John 14:6.
Con.
John 14 verse 6. Because you have to notice, and this is, Christians love these scriptures. They love this scripture right here.
This is the book of John, chapter 14 and verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yahawashi saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life.
Right. So in Yahawashi, again, who people ignorantly call Jesus Christ,
Mm-hmm.
unknowingly call Jesus Christ, right? He is the way, he is the truth, and he is the life. He's the bridge to the Most High. You cannot get to the Most High if you don't believe in Yahawashi. And it ain't no white Jesus. We about to get into that. It ain't no white Jesus, right? But it's a so-called black man. That's right. Who he was. He wasn't a so-called white man.
Bring it out.
Right? You got to know who you're believing in. You got to look into the scriptures, right? That's why the scriptures is here, right? To teach you, for correction, for reproof.
Bring it out.
Right? That's why the scripture is here. Mm-hmm. Esau could pull out as many doctrines as they want. They could throw as many doctrines as they want on you. Right? But if you follow in the scriptures, you can't go off. They can't do nothing against us. They hate to see us hold this Bible. They hate it. They hate to see it. Now, this is Esau, right? The so-called white man. Whenever you hear me say Esau, that's the so-called white man. Mm-hmm. Right?
Come over, continue.
Now you could get James.
Mm-hmm.
James chapter 1. And verse 16.
This is the book of James, chapter 1 and verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
Do not err, my beloved brethren.
Right. Err, meaning do not be deceived. Do not be deceived, my beloved brethren. Right? Speaking to us, we shouldn't be deceived. Right?
It's like verse 17. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above.
Right. So every good gift and perfect gift is from above, from the Most High. The wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding. Right? It's not all about cars and money and all that stuff. Right? The wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, all these things that you're receiving is from the Most High. Right? Now, get Romans 15 and 4 real quickly. Sorry, you could drop that actually and get Romans 15 and 4.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning.
Was what?
Written for our learning.
See, the things that was written in this book, from Genesis to Revelation, was written for our learning. Mm-hmm. It's for our people. Why you think Esau, the so-called white man, had to take scriptures from out of this book? Why you think they had to change it and try and remove hide scriptures from this from us, Salakia? Why do you think they had to hide scriptures from us, taking scriptures out of the book? Because they don't want us they don't want to see us with this book. That's why.
Salakia, let me back on what he's saying as far as them taking things out, right?
Mm-hmm.
During the time of us being in slavery, they gave us a Bible that was this big. We were going over this during Shabbat, right? This past Shabbat. Shalom, priest Kahan.
Shalom, priest.
They gave us a little Bible that was this big, right? Look at how thick this thing is.
Mm-hmm.
Look how thick this thing is. They were taking scriptures out, literally watching over what our ministers were telling us, right? People who were trying to teach our people the law, statutes, and commandments, or anything that was scriptural at all. They were taking things out and telling them, no, you can't tell them anything like that. You have to make sure you're telling them exactly what we've been telling you.
Right.
And if you say anything that's wrong, or you give them too much information, we're going to whip you. These things are documented in history. And then Esau wants to say, well, guess what? Slavery was such a long time ago. You guys catch up to us, etc., etc. We have no way of catching up to them when they have trillionaires, right? People who are way multi-billionaires.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? I could be wrong, but there's only like 5 of our people that are billionaires. Maybe even a little bit more than that. Maybe. When you look at the whole collective of our people, we're not touching what Esau has or what these other nations have.
Right.
Why? Because they stripped us of what we used to have. Our heritage, the laws, statutes, and commandments, the ways of the Most High. But so I can go ahead.
Exactly. And here you could drop down now. You're gonna read the ESV, right? But look, right. Another thing with Esau, you know, they teach you to know. They teach you what they want to teach you, right? Who the Most High is, we forgetting. The Most High could pick and choose whatever He wants, right? And you people say, like I say, I always bring out this example. You say the Most High wouldn't do this. Christians would say the Most High wouldn't choose certain people over these people. But again, the Most High chose Noah. Did He not?
Bring it out.
He chose Yahawashi. He chose the land of Jerusalem. You know, that's just who the Most High always been. The Most High has favorites. The Most High could choose whatever He wants. Right now, we're going to read this scripture, right? This is 1 Peter 2:9 in the ESV.
This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9.
Right now, listen to this, right?
But you are a chosen race.
Right? We are chosen what?
A chosen race.
So the Most High chose a race. Mm-hmm. Right? The Most High chose a race, ethnicity. Right? So that's what our people don't know. That's what we lacking on. Mm-hmm. We don't listen to the so-called white man talking about some one nation under God. No, we're not. We're not supposed to. We're supposed to be separate and holy. Right? So He has a chosen race,
a royal priesthood, a holy nation,
a royal priesthood,
a people for His own possession.
A people what?
For His own possession.
A people for His own possession. Right? Read.
That you may proclaim the excellencies of Him who called you out of darkness into His marvelous light.
Right? He called us out of the darkness into marvelous light. Right? That's what we have to understand. We have to understand that the Most High chose a specific race. Yeah, that was around that. That was it. Yeah, the Most High chose a specific race. And you know, that's something we don't know. We always want to hold hand with the other race. All they're doing is oppressing us. All they're doing is gunning us down. They don't like us, and they never did. And what we try and do, hold hands with them every time. And that's what the Black Lives Matter movement is all about. Holding hands with them. Right now, let me get Revelation chapter 1, verse 1. Now we're going to talk about Yahawashi. We know that the Most High has a chosen race, a chosen people. Right now, we're going to talk about who people ignorantly call Jesus Christ.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1 and verse 1. The revelation of Hamashiach Yahawashi.
Right. So the revelation means to reveal. So He about to reveal who people ignorantly call Jesus Christ. But we about to get some information on Him. Right now, you could drop down to verse 14.
Verse 14. His head and His hairs were white like wool.
Was what?
White like wool.
So His hair was white like wool. That's a strike one already. Why? Because the so-called white Jesus, right? The ones that the church worship, His hair is not white. So who are you worshiping?
He got brown dog hair.
Right, He got brown dog hair. So who are y'all worshiping?
As white as snow. And His eyes were as a flame of fire.
So His eyes were as a flame of fire. He had red eyes. Again, that so-called white man, that white Jesus, Caesar Borgia, who people worship, he ain't got no red eye.
Bring it out. And His feet like unto fine brass.
Unto what?
Fine brass.
Now, if you know, the color of brass is brown. And let's see how brown He was. Read.
As if they burned in a furnace.
Right, so He was dark brown. He was chocolate. Right, people would call it chocolate.
Dark skin brother.
Right, so who people in you call Jesus Christ was a chocolate man, brown man. Right, so that's one thing. That's one thing we've been deceived on. You know, growing up, I used to think Jesus was white. I used to believe Jesus was white until the Most High called me out of the darkness into the light. To see, you know, I started reading the scriptures for myself because the pastor never told me this. They never told me this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my father is a so-called pastor. He never told me this. You know, was that it on that?
That's it.
I get First Maccabees 3:48. Right? Because it's the heathens. It's the heathens that's deceiving us like this, or people like this. And this is how powerful the scriptures is, right? They will get you right. Your mind, they'll bring you to the right path. And this is why it's important to dig into the scriptures. Read.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 48.
Mm-hmm.
And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen has sought to paint the likenesses, it's like the likeness of their images.
Right. So they took the people in the book and they paint the likeness of their image,
Mm-hmm.
their skin color. In other words, right? If you look at Jesus Christ, who people in you call Jesus Christ, right? Yahawashi. If you look at Yahawashi, they paint him to be a red man, a so-called white man. Right? And it was written in the scriptures. It was prophesied this was going to happen. And that's what we lack on. We don't understand this. We believe everything and everything is for the so-called white man. Everything. We just believe anything they say.
That's our downfall.
Right, and that's the problem. This is why he separated us from this is why he said to be holy from the other nations. So we don't follow their false doctrine. Now we just all over their doctrine. We believe them over our people. I bet you if I was a so-called white man speaking right now on this live, I probably would have had over 50 views.
50. Try 1,000.
Well, yeah, I probably would have been getting money off of this. Easily. Because I'm a so-called white man telling the truth. If I was a so-called white man telling you the same thing, y'all was gonna listen to him more than me. Telling you that the Bible said y'all the people, that y'all supposed to be holy, that y'all the chosen people, the chosen race, that the people in this Bible, right, the prophets in this Bible are not a so-called white man. Y'all would have believed me. We're not y'all specific, but I'm talking about people that's in the darkness, right? They would have listened. Right, you had a precept?
Ecclesiastes 9 and 15.
Mm-hmm.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 9 and verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 15. Now there was found, I'm going to start at verse 14. There was a little city and few men within it, and there came a great king against it, and besieged it, and built great bulwarks against it. Mm-hmm. Now there was found in it a poor wise man, and he by his wisdom delivered the city. Yet no man remembered it. No man remembered that same poor man. Then said I, wisdom is better than strength. Mm-hmm. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. In like manner, we bring out the truth to our people, mm-hmm. but because we look like them, knowing that our people are at a lower state on the earth right now, we're the poor of the earth, mm-hmm. we shrug it off. Like, I don't care what you got, what you have to say. Mm-hmm. But if it were a so-called white man, somebody who has quote unquote degrees in bibliography or anything like that, they'll listen to everything that he has to say. But whenever our own people talk about any of these things, they just shrug it off like it's nothing.
Right.
It's like, go ahead.
They probably look at you like, man, you don't know what you're talking about. If we speak like that, we're hating. We have hate in our heart. That's their number one excuse. Right? But if they speak like that, you accept it. They accept it. Right? Now let me get Hebrews 7 and 14. Mm-hmm. Right? Because we know according to prophecy, archaeology, history, right? We could see that the tribe of Judah, the tribe of Judah goes back to the so-called Negroes, mm-hmm. or the so-called African Americans, right? And that's not up for debate. That's like everybody know that, right? Read.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 7 and verse 14.
Right.
For it is evident that our Adawan sprang out of Judah.
Out of what?
Out of Judah.
And that's talking about so-called Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. Right. That's talking about Yahawashi. He sprung out of Judah, meaning he was a so-called Negro. He was a so-called African American. That's who he was. A so-called African American. He was like this, man. Tribe of Judah. Right? He's from the tribe of Judah, man. That's who Yahawashi is. Right? That a lot of people, again, right? A lot of people, they don't believe in the tribes we come from. They don't believe in our heritage, our true heritage. Again, I was never taught that in church. I grew up in the church, and I was never taught that. And in church, again, my dad is a whole pastor. The only thing he'll tell me is, "Oh, yeah, Jesus. Just praise Jesus. Go to church. Worship Jesus. Believe in Him, and you shall be good." But it's important to know all these things. That's why it's written in the scriptures. That's why it's written in the book. It's important to understand this thing, because it'll open many doors for you. Right? You're gonna start being curious. The next thing you know, you in the room, right? You found a treasure just looking around, just off going into the scriptures, right? You get that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Right? You start to a lot of doors start to open up once you understand this. Right? A lot of people, they get woken up in different type of ways. Right? Some people are just how strictly going over that the people in the Bible is a so-called black man, that could wake them up. Right? But they probably won't wake up to something else. Right?
It'd be like that.
It'd be like that. You wake up to different things. Some people will wake up out John 3:16. Like, dang, start questioning it. Some people will wake up out the Trinity. There's different doors.
You know what I'm saying? We cut the philosophies that Esau pushed on our people.
Right. Start questioning it.
That's something that we used to bring or even to this day, we bring a lot of our people that are in Christianity. We bring them out of it because they see how foolish it all sounds. They're like, yo, the Trinity. Yeah, 1 + 1 + 1 = 1. That doesn't make any sense. They start getting everything right. Then we show them the scriptures, how Yahawashi literally says that the Most High is His God, things of that nature. And they're like, yo, that makes a lot of sense. There's no way that the Trinity makes any sense.
Right.
Right. That's just an example that he was bringing out.
All right. Now get Psalms 58:3. Psalms 58:3.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 58, verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb.
The what?
The wicked are estranged from the womb.
Right.
They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies.
Speaking what?
Speaking lies.
That's what the wicked do. The second they're born, speaking lies. The second they're born, they're a whole baby and they're lying. They don't know what they're saying and they're lying. The first word that probably came out of their mouth was a lie.
That's how Esau is.
That's how Esau is. They lie. They would lie to you. They would lie to our people. That's what they do.
I got a precept, but an example, right? If you remember the Emmett Till story, I always bring this up to brothers and sisters that I might wake up whenever this scripture is brought out. If you remember what happened, it was an Edomite girl, I think, at the time. And I believe Emmett Till was maybe like 13, 14. He was very young. It took only a few words from her that caused an uproar of the whole entire nation of America. This whole place got rocked to its core because of the story. And even to this day, it's still something that still hits our people whenever they hear the story and realize that this woman is still alive, not even convicted. They can convict Bill Cosby for something that they said happened 20, 30, or 40 years ago. Think about that. I think she's still alive. That same exact woman is still alive. Not even touched or phased. Think about that, man. And she was young at the time when she accused him of that. Got him killed. Beat. His face is so messed up that you couldn't even recognize him. That should hurt our people to our core. Think about that, man. Think about that was you. Imagine you seeing something like that happen to your people in this day and age. What would you do? Would you do what the scriptures say to do, or would you just cower away in fear? Go ahead,
man. There was that one post. I know you know what I'm talking about. And chat, if you know what I'm talking about, with that one guy, I forgot his name.
Northern Kingdom
locked up 110 years, right? Just because he killed 4 people accidentally because his trucks and his brake broke, right? And he crashed into them, right? And I seen another comparison. I forgot how the story went.
I believe it was an Edomite woman who did something similar, but I think hers was on purpose. She only got 4 years.
Right. Esau could go up and shoot up a whole school. They would never serve 110 years. Matter of fact, they could be plead innocent at times. Now that's the type of treatment our people get.
What's that one dude's name that happened? I believe it was like last month. Everybody was watching this trial. I can't remember his name. But if you look at his example, for example, shooting up a school or doing things of that nature, Esau will get off just by crocodile tears.
Mm-hmm.
Crocodile tears. He doesn't even mean what he's pushing out.
Mm-hmm.
Fake tears, and everybody starts believing him.
Right. It was obvious he was faking.
Obvious that he was faking. And guess what? Because he's in his kingdom, that man can live. He can live fat.
Freely.
Live freely. He's living freely right now, doing tours around different countries, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
That is wicked, man. Esau is just a wicked devil. No one can try to change my mind. They can't do anything or say anything that's gonna take my mind off of the fact that he is literally a devil, man. He's our worst enemy. Literally our worst enemy. The worst person to ever be created on this earth, literally. Right. They do their job perfectly. They were created to be the wicked, and they play that role to the T. To the T. Think about that. Oh, my bad.
Bro, I'm looking at the post I seen. It says I jumped the fence at the polar bear enclosure at the zoo. Then had to kill all the polar bears in self-defense.
You might as well go ahead and show them that.
Like, right.
This is the same type of ideology that America is pushing right now.
I know when it comes to it.
Yeah, I think it's good now. Look at that. Because he's saying that, I believe it was he was like chasing or no, he came to another neighborhood with a gun, with a rifle, and started killing somebody that he said was suspect. I can't remember the whole story right now. That's how I know what I got.
He had no business being over there to begin with.
That's the point that I'm trying to make. He had no business being over there
to begin with.
Talking about I thought something happened and that he killed somebody, right? He killed somebody.
Man thought he was Superman coming to save the day. I don't know what he was on, right? But what scripture? Oh yeah, Psalm 58. Mm-hmm. So that's what they do though. That's what they do. They lie. That's how that's what they do to our people, and this is why we're so brainwashed. This is why.
I can give verse 10.
Can you get it?
Psalm 58 and verse 10. The righteous shall rejoice when he seeth the vengeance. Mm-hmm. He shall wash his feet in the blood of the wicked.
Man, I'll be happy when the day of vengeance come on them. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be happy as hell. I'm gonna be rejoicing too. Right? Destructions is coming to them. They're gonna get punished for what they did.
That's right.
The Most High ain't gonna let them slide. And what they did to his chosen people. That's
right.
Come on, man. So the Most High is not gonna let that slide. Right? You had a precept?
So like, yeah, I'll give Psalms 149. Mm-hmm. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 149. We'll start at verse 4 and end off at verse 9, actually. Mm-hmm. Verse 4. For the Most High taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Most High.
Right. We are the saints. Vengeance, captivity is coming into them also for what they did to our people.
That's right.
And I don't know how they're going to survive the captivity with their skin color. They're going to be getting sunburns
out in the hot sun.
Hey, man, I'm showing no mercy. I don't care. Right? I won't care. You drop my thing, man, you getting whipped. You drop my basket, you getting whipped. I ain't showing no mercy, right? For what they did to us. And today our people don't care about the history. We care about their holidays. We care about everything else. We care about 9/11. We care about Titanic, but we don't care about slavery.
Two points on that. Slaki, just touch my mind. We care about everything that happened to Esau. I'm gonna use those two examples that he just used, right? 9/11. What has this country ever done for us to the point that we should be, so careful or caring towards 9/11 and what happened to this country? Right. The only reason I can think of is our people that were in the building. Honestly, that's it. And then the other thing, the Titanic, right? If I remember correctly, there was not even documented any Israelite on that ship.
We wasn't in it. There was none of our people in it.
Yet, when we're growing up, they got us crying over a story that has nothing to do with our people.
Right.
You see how they tricked our minds so much? So much to the point where we're like, yo, I can't believe all those people died. They drowned. They got hit by an iceberg. Oh, my gosh. Yet they called it an unsinkable ship and that even God himself couldn't sink it. That's what they said. They were bold with it, too. And guess what happened to it? Guess what happened to it? You don't try to do that, man.
It be the same people today. The same people. Right? These same people saying, telling our people, it's the same people telling our people that slavery was the past. Forget about it. I wasn't in the past. I wasn't doing that to your people. It's the same people.
Sorry, I got a precept on that.
It's the same people telling you this. And even our people is teaching us this. Even our people. Right? Bring out a precept.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 21. One of my favorite scriptures, right? Because when they bring that out, they're like, we weren't the people who did it to y'all. We would never do anything like that. Yet they're living off of what? The things that their forefathers did, they get to benefit off of what they did to our forefathers. And we're supposed to be okay and all right with it.
They just walking in a stolen land. Like that ain't never happened.
They're walking on stolen land and they feel scotch-free. Like everything's going to be okay. Right? So let me get this. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. Because what happens when Esau starts, building up? What happens whenever they start going around conquering places? They go overboard every single time.
Right.
Now that they're ruling the majority of the earth right now, look at what's going on with the wildlife, man. Most of the animals are killed off because of them. Think about that. Not even because of us, because of them. Once they got into rulership, the people started mourning.
Right.
When the righteous are in authority, what did the scriptures say? Think about that. These words should be echoing in our people's minds heavily whenever we bring this truth out. Because this truth should be hitting you. It should be hitting our people to the point where we're like, yo, I got to really, tell somebody about this.
Right.
This is hidden history. Hidden history. And they don't want us to know this. Why? Because they know that as soon as we get into power, it's over for Esau.
It's over. It's a wrap.
The rulership for these other nations is over.
Right.
Right? Salaki.
Khan.
Captain Tasca, all praises. Khan.
All praises.
Oh, Yakazak, Salaki. Khan.
Let me get Exodus chapter 4, verse 6.
Khan.
And now you're going to talk about Moses. Right. Very powerful. Very, very powerful prophet. Right.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 4 and verse 6. And the Most High said furthermore unto him, put not thine hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom.
Right. So Moses put his hand into his bosom, right? Around his chest area, right?
And when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow.
His hand was what?
Leprous as snow.
His hand was white. His hand was white. So what does that tell you about Moses' skin to begin with? If it's white, what was it? What was it before that then? Right? It said his skin was leprous like snow. It was white. But that's not normal. That wasn't normal for him, right? Khan.
Verse 7. And he said, put thine hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again.
So he put it into his bosom again.
And plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh.
It was what?
Turned again as his other flesh.
So it was turned again as his other flesh, meaning it was back to normal.
Khan, the water. That's right then.
Khan. So it's saying, right? It's showing you the skin colors of our people throughout the whole scriptures, right? Throughout the whole Bible. You just have to read it. Again, the pastor or the church or any religion will read right over this.
Khan.
They'll read right over it, right?
Read over it. Actually, to be honest, they don't even read the Exodus like that. When you think about it.
Oh yeah, it's the Old Testament. I forgot.
And if they read this right here, they wouldn't even understand it, how it's supposed to be read.
Right.
They read it with a New Testament lens, which makes no sense. What would this? I have to actually ask a Christian. What would this scripture mean? What would this scripture mean? That his spirit was showing? He was white as snow? Is that what it means? No. We have the understanding because the Most High gives his understanding to those who actually read the scriptures.
Right.
Who want to seek out wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Who pray for these things. And guess what? It's not for any of these other nations. It's for our people. Because it was written for our people. Right? But go ahead. So
again, it's a holy Bible. And holy means separate.
Are we not the separate people?
Right. It ain't for everybody.
Khan.
All right, now let me get the First Chronicle 1. Chapter 23.
Khan, I believe so.
23 and 14. Khan. All right. Now we're gonna, now we know that Moses, we already over Yahawashi. Right. Proving that he was a so-called black man, so-called Negro. Right. Now we went to Moses, kind of prove the skin color, right? And read that one.
This is the book of First Chronicles, chapter 23 and verse 14. Now concerning Moses, the man of the Most High, His sons were named of the tribe of Levi.
Of what?
The tribe of Levi.
You are what your father is, right?
Con.
So he's from the if his son is from the tribe of Levi, show you that Moses was from the tribe of Levi, a so-called Haitian.
Con.
And that's what he was, a so-called Haitian.
That's right.
Right. Again, we are the people in that book.
Con.
You can't deny it. Right. Again, the book ain't for everybody. And this is why Esau had to portray all the prophets in this Bible to be white. This is why they painted Yahawashi as a white man.
So my bad. On that point as well, I gotta also say this.
Right.
When you look at Esau and even his physiology, right? They can't be out in the sun as long as we can they?
Right.
No. There's a reason why. Because they're not like our people. We were literally made to be the stronger people. We were made to be the people that they would serve. Think about it. There's a reason why the Most High made Esau different from Jacob. There's the fact that our people can't even see that, and they still want to stick up for the weaker person like that, who literally hates us with all their heart, mind, and soul. It really hurts me, man. It hurts my spirit, it hurts my soul. Because when we try to bring this truth out, this should be a light to y'all. This should be something that sparks in your spirit, and you're like, yo, I can't believe I never knew this. I can't believe that I hated my people for so long. And you should be sorrowful for the truth now that you now know. But instead, a lot of our people are like, yo, okay, so I don't even believe that. Doesn't even make any sense to me. They can't see it. Even when you break it down with so much oomph and pizzazz, right? It's not for everybody to understand. But we're still trying to bring the truth out to our people. Because guess what? Even if they don't understand it, they're going to tell somebody at some point that they ran into some Hebrew Israelites. Now they're going to start researching the Hebrew Israelites. And guess what? They can wake up. This is why we keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing on the highways and byways.
Right.
These things that we're doing are important, and it's not in vain, brothers and sisters.
Right.
It's not in vain. Doesn't matter how many people you think that you're not reaching, somebody's always getting this truth. So I can go ahead.
Come on, I get Genesis 2 and 7. For sure.
Come.
Genesis 2 and verse 7.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 2 and verse 7.
Right. Now, this is going to prove that even from the jump, right? Even from the jump, they had brown skin colors, right? Even from the jump, that's what the Most High blessed us with. This skin color, right? Read.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 2 and verse 7. And the Most High Yahawah formed man of the dust of the ground.
Of what?
Of the ground.
Of the dust of the ground, right? The dust of the ground. You know, if you look at the dust on the ground, it comes with different shades of brown.
That's right.
Different shades. Look, one dust could be darker than the other, but they're all brown. Ain't no red dust up the air. Ain't no white dust.
There's a very light kind of dust and a very dark brown kind of dust.
Right.
Think about that. Or dirt, dirt.
Right. So he formed us in the dust of the ground. So that's in Genesis. So it's showing you from the jump how everything was. How the Most High was rolling. Right. That's how the Most High been rolling from the jump. Right. You had something to say?
Bah.
Let me get the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 37. Deuteronomy 28 and 37.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb.
A what?
A proverb. And a byword.
A what?
A byword.
Look, man. Negro, Spitz, you know, all these different names our people been called, even up to this day, right? Haitian, what's it called? Jamaicans, right? African American, you know, the Negroes, all these different names were being called. It was prophesied in the Bible, right? So, but it was said to happen to the Most High's chosen people. The Most High's chosen people. That's who was said to happen to. Now, let me, Salaki, hold down and get Leviticus 20 and 26. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 26. And ye shall be holy unto me.
A what?
Holy unto me.
We shall be holy, right? Again, going back to what I said earlier, right? Holy, right? Holy meaning separate. We shall be separate into the Most High, right? And this is going to show it. Furthermore, read.
For I, the Most High, am holy.
The Most High himself is holy. It's showing you that he's not rocking with everybody. He's holy too, right? Read.
And I've severed you from other people.
And I've what?
Severed you from other people.
Meaning to separate, to cut off, right? So he cut us off. He separated us from all the other people, from all the other nations, right? Read.
That ye should be mine.
That what?
That ye should be mine.
Man, don't that sound like the Most High is choosing or has favorites?
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like the Most High has favorites.
Calm.
You're mine, right? Forget all the other ones. You're mine. Our people, we taking that for granted.
Calm.
That's what we take it for granted. We're not just niggers and spits.
That's right.
We are the people in the book.
Calm.
We're not just regular African American dudes. That has no life. That's just all we do is smoke weed, get locked up, and we're not just we're special. We are very special.
Calm. And that's what they want us to be like, though.
Right.
They want us to be nothing in this world. They call us nothing, and they want us to stay down to be nothing.
Right.
This is why it's so important for us to be out there on the highways and byways, making videos like this to edify our people, to wake them up in these last days, so that they understand that they are a chosen people, a holy people. They are different from all the people on the earth. That the Most High said that we are a special people unto Him.
Right.
He severed us from all these different people on the earth for a reason. Right. We go ahead, Salak.
Right. Now that we're holding hands with them, look where it leads us to. Not knowing what the hell is going on.
Calm.
Why? Because we was holding hands with them.
That's right.
And we're listening to them over the Most High. You're choosing them over the Most High. You believe in their history books over the Bible. You believe in the science over the Bible. Right? You believe in all these different doctrines over the scriptures that the Most High provided us with for our learning's sake.
Calm.
Right? And this is their plan. This is what Esau do. Right? They throw different doctrines on our people. Right? They trying to lose us in the sauce. Because we got too much sauce. So they're gonna try and lose you in the sauce.
Calm.
Was that it?
Yeah, that was it.
Can you go back to that last one? Deuteronomy 28.
Deuteronomy 28:37 from the top. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations.
Right. So it's our people, and that's how you know you're that chosen people. This is exactly how you know. This scripture alone will show you. Right? Because Esau wasn't being called all these other names. Matter of fact, they was the one giving out the names. Right? Any of these nations. We the one that fit these curses in the Bible. Paul, Yahawashi, who people allegedly call Jesus Christ. Moses, all these prophets in the Bible are so-called black men. Right? Even shout out to the Northern Kingdom too.
Calm.
The Northern Kingdom too. They are our people. They fit these curses too.
Calm.
They were called different bywords too.
That's right. Because the people of the book are people who are so-called black and brown people.
Right.
We weren't all just. This is one thing that Negro onlys don't understand. There is no scripture letting us know that the whole tribes are all just one shade of brown or had one texture of hair, because we had different textures of hair. If we're supposed to be the original people, think about it on this scale as well. Let's even just put the Bible down. If we're supposed to be the original people, right? That means that we've had to have different textures of hair. It all had to originate from somewhere, didn't it? And if we're the originators, that means straight hair came from us at some point. The woolly hair came from us at some point. All these different hair textures came from us.
Right.
So they have to make sense of that as well. Because what would they always say? If you don't have Negro hair, then you're not an Israelite. Prove it. Doesn't make any sense. Especially if you're telling us that we're the originators. It's like, that's what I had on that.
Con, get that in 1 Samuel 19 and 15.
Con.
1 Samuel 19 and 15. Because it's not all about woolly hair, right? The so-called Mexicans, right? They are our people too. The indigenous Native Americans, they are our people too. Right? It's not all about 19 and 15.
Yeah, I got 15.
15 and 16.
I think it's 13.
Yeah, it's 13, but hold on. Yeah, you could start at 13.
This is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 19, verse 13. And Michael took an image and laid it in the bed and put a pillow of goat's hair for his bolster and covered it with a cloth.
So that's proven. Wait, where you started at?
Verse 13.
All right, Carter, you can keep reading.
And when Saul sent messengers to take David, she said, he is sick. And Saul sent the messengers again to see David.
Right, and we know that David is an Israelite. Right, David is an Israelite.
Saying, bring him up to me in the bed, that I may slay him. And when the messengers would come in, behold, there was an image in the bed with a pillow of goat's hair for his bolster.
A what?
A pillow of goat's hair for his bolster.
Right. So they made like a mannequin of David, right, laying on the bed, right, to hide him. Right. They made like a mannequin, and they put goat hair on David. They put goat hair. Goat hair is straight. Right. Goat hair is straight. So what is that telling you? It's not all about having woolly hair. You know, we don't judge our people off skin color. You know, I'm just bringing those out to spark a light into our people. Right? It's not all about, we don't judge off the skin color. You know, you are what your father is. Look at Blake Griffin and his son.
Perfect example.
Right? They are Israelites. They're our people. He is part of our people. You know, we don't, you know, that's one thing that people cannot get in their head. It's not about skin color. It's not about skin color. Right? It's about who your father is, the lineage of your father. Right? And that's what Negroes only don't understand. We would tell them over and over again, it's not about skin color. It's not, when they would agree too, but then they go off skin color.
Literally, they'll go right into contradicting themselves.
That's what they do. Right? So again, the people in the books, you know, there are people. Right? Talking about the prophets, them prophets and mighty prophets, there are people. And you can't get around that. Right? They're not all white, the so-called white man. The real Jews is not a so-called white man.
You know, Amalekites that think that, or they keep saying that they're the real Jews. Why they're the real Jews? Why do they call themselves Jewish? And of course, if anybody's ever heard us teach on the street corners, anybody should know what ish means, to pertain to or to be like something. They know that they're not the real Jews. And like I was telling people, whenever we go out and promote LOZ in general, right? We always tell them, listen, they walked up to us, we walked up to them, we told them that we're the real Jews, and they agree. There were times when they walked up to us and simply just said, yeah, you guys were Jew. You guys were Jew. They've said it. What can you say at this point? It's all over the internet. Everybody should be knowing the truth at this point. Right? And it's going to continue to spread throughout the four corners of the earth.
Right.
That's like, go ahead. My bad.
Yeah. So that's just to spark the light into our people. Right? You know, again, these people that are the so-called blacks, or who people call Negro today, you know, however you want to put it, the so-called African Americans, however you want to put it, right? And the so-called Latinos, right? And the indigenous Native Americans also, right? Those are our people in the Bible.
That's right.
There are people. You're that chosen people the Most High is talking about that needs to come back to His commandments, to His laws, statutes, and commandments, right? Because once we get out of the once we start keeping the laws, statutes, and the commandments, the curses will flip on us, right? We're going to our enemies.
That's right.
Right? We're going to be saved. You know, we're going to be out of here, right? No more Esau. They're going to be goodbye, right? You going to bring that out?
So like I just want to get the point that he just brought out. And this, I'm going to read verse 1 and 2 and then drop to verse 7. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Most High thy power hath driven thee, and shalt return unto the Most High thy power, and shalt obey his voice, according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thine heart and with all thy soul. John verse 7. And the Most High thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Because we understand that all these other nations, they hate us. They did what? They persecuted us. They continue to keep us down. They just promote wickedness, and guess what? Our people are just eating it up in these last days. So that's what we, as hard as they're going, we have to be even harder in this truth. We have to push even harder for righteousness. Let's go ahead.
And that's the only way out.
Only way out.
The law, statutes, and commandments is the only way out for our people. That's our hope. The law, statutes, and commandments. There's no other way around it. Coming back to the Most High is the only way out. And this is what Esau is trying to stop you from doing, coming back to the law, statutes, and commandments. Right. And you don't like they, you know, religion.
Bring it out.
Billions of people in Christianity. Right. They would teach you to not keep the law, statutes, and commandments. They somehow Esau managed to teach our people that you're not able to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, that you can't keep it. Somehow Esau managed to do this stuff to our people. That's why the only way out is the law, statutes, and commandments, because the Most High is always going to be with you when you're keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. He's going to hear your prayers when you're keeping the commandments. That's the only way out. That's the only hope for our people. And this is why we out. This is the main reason, one of the top-notch reasons why we be out teaching, right? To bring our people back to the laws, statutes, and the commandments. There's no other way around it. Khan. Did you have any points you want to put out or bring out? Khan. That was it for today. Again, I really hope this was edifying. I really hope everybody's day goes by well. Like, share, subscribe. Do what you got to do to push the word out. To bring this video out to our people. Our people that's out there. That have no hope. That's in the dark. Even those that understand the truth. Right? It's always good, to learn. Right? Again, that was it for today.
Give all praises.
Let's see. Just want to see something.
Okay. That was it.
Again, I'd like to give all praises to Bahasham, Yahawashi, to the Most High. Again, till next time. Peace, Israel.
Shalom, Israel.